Hello and welcome. We're looking for $2 million homes all around the country. This time it's in Minnesota. If you want to see links to any of these, look in the description. They're usually there after they sell. As of taping, they're still for sale, but whenever you watch this, they could be gone. So please let me know in the comments which ones you like. And here we go. So Minnesota has so many nice houses, and it is the land of 1,000 lakes. And I could have just had a whole episode on houses on lakes. This one was kind of pretty far up north, pretty far up north, but it was on a big lake system. So once you're on here, you could go to all these different little lakes and go fishing and possibly boating and playing. So the location was very nice, although eventually it probably gets cold. It wasn't real big. It just had just quote unquote 2,400 square feet. The inside was I like the dark wood. I know some people don't, but it had I like the beams in the dark wood, but then it opens up after that. So I think it helps it just overall feel cozy yet open, and so it was a interesting combination. But it did have extra garage, and then the lake access, and the good lake was what made it in the top 10. Next up, this house was located in a Minneapolis suburb, and it had 7,000 square feet, so we're quickly moving up, and it had some big garage. But it was all in. Either you like exposed beams or you don't. So it was almost too many, but it was definitely different. And that was something about a lot of the architecture I found in Minneapolis, is that you just didn't have your McMansions, is that people took chances, and sometimes they were good and sometimes they were bad. But the homes were different, and I appreciated that. And this, I did like the beams, and so this house also had a little skylight in the bedroom. There we go, big skylight up there. So it I don't believe it had it. So it had a downstairs basement, kind of entertaining area out to a Three Seasons room. So just a lot of space. I like the upstairs, being able to look down was a cool feature to it, and but it did not have a pool, and I'm not even sure it had a hot tub, but there you go. Moving on. So this house, another suburb of Minneapolis, and it did have a pool, and it had like this one fireplace outside, and then it had kind of this other, I assume is gas fireplace right here, connected to that back of the house, which was kind of interesting. But overall, it had all your parking over to the left, and then it also had additional parking to the right. So I think you have space. You could have a shop over to the right, which I thought was a nice combo. And on the interior, it just was not cookie cutter. It had some nice features throughout of it, and this was just such a kind of, I'm not seeing the curved couches like this before. It just seems so unique to the space, like they made it just for this. And I thought that was cool. This big open room, and it goes on, and it's got a pool table, foosball table, and all that stuff. Next up, so this was actually just between Minneapolis and St. Paul, but just east of the Mississippi River. And it had, if you zoom in, it actually, on the other side of the Mississippi, if you go up to the bridge, there's a trail on the other side, which would be cool if it wasn't too hard to get to. But the house itself, they kind of whitewashed it a little bit, but the kitchen, I like that they kind of left that different, and for some reason I really like the wood. Usually in these houses, when everything else is whitewashed, they also whitewash the kitchen, but I like it quite a bit. It's just warm and cozy. You can tell that they spend a lot of time in there. The rest of the house is pretty generic, probably by design. It does have a, if I can get to it, I'll just scroll down to it. It had a sunroom, which you can see on some of the photos. But come down here. Anyway, I thought it had a sunroof, but maybe I'm thinking of another one. Moving on. This house, again at 7,000 square feet. It was, I think it was from like 1905, and it's had a lot of updates since. So you see that date, and you think it's going to be an older house, older design. You have a little bit of that, like you walk in, the funky rock. It almost felt like a 70s thing to me, but then it moves on. It's not all like that. It's got it's a not quite, it's not your modern today open concept like you see, but you can tell that they've been updating it, and it was just, again, just a different. Their outdoor is cool. I don't know why they don't cover these spaces, because Minnesota, the cold, the winter, and everything. Maybe they're just used to it, and they're just a hardier person, which is not a far stretch. But they don't cover their outdoor spaces. I like this sitting area quite a bit, with the windows in the roof and the windows on the side, and it had another kind of sitting area with a fountain. So this also had a sauna, which there's several properties that did have the sauna, so that was a common on these upper end houses to have that. And then there was another room with the roof lighting. And this, I'm not quite sure what this business is. It's like you have these little extra beds set up, which was just a little odd. I don't know if that's just the whole family just bunked together, but it did have a connection to a lake, and I thought it was pretty cool. Moving on, so there's one in Minneapolis, so we're talking right. Kinda, it's nice because there's things around that you could potentially walk to. McDonald's, there you go. But the outside kind of looked like it looked like a college building. It was very stately. The interior was grandiose. It just wood paneling, and not the 70s kind, but the really magnificent wood everywhere, carvings and ornate. Just again, the kind of woodwork that you just don't see anymore. And that was just something Minneapolis had. It had a lot of interesting homes like this. I'm going to bop out for a second. I think it was 1903. So and it's 10,000 square feet, by the way. So the kitchen was a little cramped and funky. I didn't quite get this, so maybe they have more than one. But it just seemed kind of galley-like and almost in a hallway. I mean, I like the lights, so it'd be fun to look out the windows and cook in this, but this almost seemed like just in a hallway. So that was a bit weird for it, to have this big of a house, but have such a kind of cramped kitchen was the deal. And it had some big open rooms. And I'm trying to get to your little massage area. But so that was it. But this house in St. Paul was just crazy. It was just we're just gonna take some time to step through it, because it was just the shape of it, the look of it. I don't know if I felt like is that orange and green, but it was just something different. A big amount of different. I think it had about an acre of its own, so you weren't exactly on top of people. But the interior, again, you have the wood all over, and the carving, wood floors, and just some designs and nice touches. That a little pipe organ, you know, you gotta have the pipe organ that you just really don't see in modern houses. But then they have a much bigger kitchen. So this looks like they have all these hanging pipes, so you can hang your copper skillets and everything from the ceiling. And this was just so much more open with more space to someone that actually really really cooks and really does the work and needs the room. So this was obviously very important to whoever lived there previously, because there's just tons of cabinets, tons of storage space and countertop area. So it's not fancy, but it's functional, so it just seems like a kitchen for somebody that actually cooks. That's probably all their cookbooks. So it was just a very, down to the kitchen. So just a fun, different property. This one was just again in this kind of area of subdivision of Minneapolis. It was again different, and it just makes me so happy when you can see in this range and see different layouts and different styles, and you know they go for it. It has a pool, and this is kind of your modern choice. So if you need something that is just very with today, this was definitely your choice, because everything is kind of your white and gray and neutral and kind of the look of today. Everything you see on HGTV, but your big kitchen and with your this seating nearby. The only kind of qualm for it is I love the exterior, but again, it wasn't covered. So we'll get to it in a second here. So everything about this is clean and safe, and I kind of like the downstairs, and it's got a dartboard, so it instantly gets tops for me. Obviously, since I got a dartboard behind me, and a nice viewing area, and the pool was good. But I like the decking on this, and if you look over, it's also got the same kind of deal with the hot tub. So I like this setup, and I like that you're just walking into both. And I'm sure they can have a cover to them, but it's just, I'm kind of surprised that the rest of the entertainment space is not, some of it's not covered, because even in the summer, you're gonna get kind of cooked. I was surprised they didn't have more than just these little covers on them. That's just not very fancy, but I do enjoy the outdoor space, and just kind of wish it was covered a little bit more. Moving on. So this one just felt like, and here we go, a due west from Minneapolis. It's like, I mean, this is just a small sample, but there was, like I said, I could have had a whole episode on just lakefront houses all over Minnesota, because there are so many different sizes, and they were usually nicer than they had to be. Sometimes when you get lakefront properties, they make the interiors really lame, but not in Minnesota. A lot of love going there. The interior of this just reminded me of an art gallery, which is good and bad. It's almost look, don't touch. So there's a modern formality about it, but not a lot of warmth to it. It's open and windows everywhere, plenty of light. So all that is wonderful. It's just I guess that's probably the coziest room over here, away from everything else. But this is kind of to the little entertainment section, because you have like this area which leads out to the pool, which leads out to this other little building. The other little building is cool AF. Let me jump out and get to that. Oh yeah, I love this pool table. I mean, this totally fits with the aesthetic of everything else, but I really have not seen a pool table like that before, and I just think it's awesome. Again, everything is just top notch and designed fancier than it needed to be. So you also have this little just you know, the poor people call it a she shed, or it could be a he shed. You know, just your own little space to get away from it all. But it's just so nice. I want to build this in my backyard. Um, but it's just, you know, this little couch and a fireplace, and that's it. I mean, it's just a place to kind of hang out, reflect, and relax, and it just, I love it, love it, love it, love it. So it's, yeah, and I think you don't really have a whole lot of neighbors behind you, so that's nice. But the best was this one. This was down here, and it had, you know, 7,000 square feet. It's well under our little $2 million range, but it had, the pool was far away from the house, but it has a little kitchenette area out here, like little mini bathhouse ish kind of deal going on. But it had some land, so I do believe it had, let me see, 2.53 acres. So to be in a neighborhood but still have space is a big deal. And they had some architect, I didn't recognize the name, kind of go through all this, but it's just so much more than they had to do just all throughout this. It just does look like something that could be an Architectural Digest, even more so than I think the last gallery house, because this has elements of a gallery house, but then I think there's also more warmth to it, and like this whole bar area is, I mean, you may not like the style, but they put style into it, and it goes into the kitchen, and the kitchen just, it looks like a restaurant almost. So it just, oh yeah, the little touches like that, for just the sitting room. So every room just had all these architectural choices that they could have just backed out on, like even the bathroom. It's like, really? A bathroom that very few people may even see. And it was the upstairs looking out at everything, and you can look over, and you know, just little places to sit and hang out. It just kind of went on and on like that. And it's also got there's like a nearby, just a small lake, but it's got a dock to go with that, and it was just a good overall, like I totally just vibe with this house. And downstairs entertainment area, it's got, you know, a big TV viewing area, your bar, your pool table, your space age bar. So it just had a good continuity throughout the house, and kind of kept sticking with it, and high design standards and everything. And it just, again, I don't know why this isn't covered, but I just don't understand that. But maybe the snow, I don't know. But it does have one thing, like this area here is covered, and it has a hot tub that's covered, which makes sense in Minnesota. So if you just want to warm up, that just makes sense. So I thought that was very cool. And the pool area was just really sizable, and then you have this whole area connected to it, so with, you know, your own little kitchenette that goes along with it, raised gardens, and so hope you enjoy. So that's just, I was really happy with Minnesota. It was enjoyed it. I just rambled on about it, but I hope you're having a good day or night, and take care.